Lieutenant Kemp.
Hello, my name is LaTanya Kemp, 6353 Crosswind Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71119. I'm here as well as a matter with the police department, Shreveport Police Department. Pastor Miles, I know him when he was in the world as Chucky. I don't know this young man that just spoke, but unlike him and what you refuse to believe, I have evidence of the police violating my civil rights. I've been to them. I've been hauled off, taken to jail. I don't call it arrested, I call it kidnapping. I go to the police department to speak to the representatives of the chief. I'm denied. I uproar the captain. Well, they're not going to speak to you. How do you know? They're going to tell me what to tell you, and that's where it ends at. Fill out a internal affair complaint. And myself as well, I'm with the gentleman. That's why things happen like it happened. Yes, I have a history with the police department because of the reasons. Right now, I'm here and I'm speaking and I'm gonna scream. I'm not gonna shut up. So I really came to let the mayor know that I want to speak to her in detail about what's going on with members of the police department. I don't blame all the police because there's some good ones. God knows there's some good ones out there. It's some good ones, but it's some that's crooked. I don't think I'm being I'm arrested. My actions has caused my arrest. The details of what's going on right now, I feel like it's really a conspiracy because of my history with the police department. I have charges, not convictions. I go to trial and I speak. I have evidence. Every time I have been approached about what I'm here about right now, I ask the police, could you please put me under surveillance? Because I know it's their word against mine. I have a history. I have, So quite naturally, they're going to take uniform, city official. It's their job. It's not their job to decide what is going to be done and what's not going to be done. I don't think the police should be making judgments of civil matters and turning it into criminal matters. I really think it's a conspiracy, and I think that the police is a part of it. Because the time I have faced, I have beat because I went to court. And like I said, I don't know about the gentleman here and what you just spoke on. And I hate that. I have evidence of everything that I say. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. What such and such called in and said this. You saw I was arrested on this date for this crime, but I was not convicted. Nobody never looked into the detail why I wasn't convicted. They just know I was arrested. I don't think it's right. And I think what's going on right now is a matter of, the football digits, what they would really like to see me with. And it gets bad. And because I know what I know, I won't let it be a suicide by cops. So I'm here. Because I'm afraid for my safety, I'm a nobody. I don't have a lawyer. I don't figure like I need one. I haven't done nothing wrong, but yet and still I was kidnapped and I was taken to jail. I have not had a return call back for an appointment. Oh no, they're not gonna speak to you. I'm telling you what's going on. It's not right. I have evidence. Here is all the papers from here to here. Nobody wanna see that. But then once somebody is so mad, fed up, sick and tired, what do you do? Where do you go? If I can't get help from my officials, they were placed here for a reason. But they don't wanna do their job. So I wonder, is it personal? I don't know.
Ms. Kemp, your time has expired.
I didn't get 7 minutes.
Ms. Kemp.
Well, like I said, I'm afraid for my safety, and I'm here because I want the mayor to know that I would like to speak to someone of authority. Because SPD, I figure like it's railroading me.
Thank you. And again, I'm going to repeat that this body does not have a preview.
I'm not asking you to do anything about what has gone on. I want you to look into the actions of Shreveport Police Department.
We'll review that, and thank you. And maybe the city attorney could give you some directions as well. Okay?
The city attorney, I need someone of higher authority. I want to speak to the mayor because, like I said, I have evidence. All they have to do is look at the videos.
Well, again, it's an issue.
If I ask, they put me on surveillance if I'm doing something I have no business doing. They'll play me in court all day long. How can you tell me that you're not going to record me?
Ms. Kemp, again, we're hearing your side. The mayor is available if her schedule allows. Just go through the proper
It may do,
channels.
and because I went there today. That's how I
we
know
don't set
about
a
this
schedule,
meeting,
so
because
please.
I have been turned away,
No,
rejected, denied. No one called back. I shoot off, like I said, the setup for suicide by cop. That's why I'm here. So it would be known to the public if something happens to me. They'll know I didn't pull a gun. I don't do guns, but I do catch charges because people are sick and tired.
Okay.
If I come to you all day, every day, and I can't get no help, you don't even want to hear me. The man got 7 years to speak a speech, and God knows he was on point. He was really talking about something. A lot of people ain't want to hear what he had to say, but he was able to speak about what he had to say. And I can't talk about the actions
I'm going to
against
end
me.
the conversation because I'm saying again that we are a city of codes and laws and ordinances, and we will be glad to hear you anytime you come here. But we can only deal with the issues that this council has been governed to do. And I'm saying that I'm asking
they're
you.
not governed for nothing against the actions of the police department.
This council has a responsibility for the police as well as the citizens.
What about the people? Yeah, what about the people? Tell me about the responsibility, the rights of the people. Who do I? That's why I'm here. That is exactly why I'm here.
We'll
Who
discuss,
is here for the people?
I will discuss this with you after the meeting. If
After the meeting, I will sit and wait, and I won't say another word. Long as I can talk to somebody, because I'm being violated, and I don't know how to reach out. I asked for the chief. They told me we're not going to call him.
Thank you. You may be seated, Ms. Kemp.
Oh, sit down, be quiet. I'll do that, because I know I'm under surveillance.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Alicia Scroggins.
Let me ask a quick question.
Yielding to the council lady.
She said her address so fast, I wasn't sure who district she's in. What was her address?
6353 Cross Street.
719. That's me.
Who is that? Councilman Bowman.
I think it's no, that's not. That's me.
No, he said Councilman Bowman.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
Already.
Okay.
Felicia Scroggins, 9314 Sandalwood Drive.
Okay.
Why y'all always on the news when something happens if you can't do nothing about what's going on in our city? That's all I want to know, and I'm going to sit down and shut up, see if I can get a public answer. That's all. That's all, because I'm not the only one with issues here.
Ma'am, please.
But I'm going to see somebody.
Respect this chamber. Please respect this chamber. Okay. Is that all, Jackie? Do I have any other news?
There's one more.
Huh?
Douglas.
But they get them in, everybody come together. I've already told them.
Oh, yes.
They sure do. And I need
One thing to speak, but it won't let me, so after this person.
you started.
Hold 1 second, please. 1 second. I will yield to the council lady.
Yeah, I'm going to wait until they finish. I had just punched it and I didn't see it come up, so I want to let you know I do have some comments.
Okay, you'll be given that privilege. Okay. I can't understand your first name. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name's Caitlin Douglas. Do I have to provide an address?
Yes.
P.O. Box something.
Sorry?
Yes. The address for the record.
912 Broadway Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay. You have 3 minutes, Ms.
Alrighty, thank you. Okay, this is my very first time attending a city council meeting. I'm 21 years old. I am obviously an African American woman. I am college educated. I'll be finishing college in 3 semesters. What bothers me is that I have lived the very few years of my life in Shreveport, and I was born and raised here. The experiences that I have experienced here are unlike none other in any other city, in any other place that I've ever visited. And the reason being for that is there have been multiple complaints, not even just today, but within my community, about the things that police do to people of color, not just black people, not just Asian people, any minority or what you would consider to be a minority. My concern is that The city of Shreveport does have very good law enforcement, but we complain about things like sagging pants when that's a form of profiling. You're giving somebody a fine, but that person could have a genius level IQ and be up to no good, but you're giving him up to a $150 fine for sagging pants. You would not have maybe guessed that I was college educated if I used my normal vernacular with my friends. But what I do and who I am is not defined by my clothes and what I wear, and it's not defined by the color of my skin either. I just want to urge the city of Shreveport, because I know that you guys don't handle that, but that's not valid. That's not good. People are complaining to you because they have issues. You are members of this community also, and you sit in a seat of power to some extent where you're able to reach out to the public. And I'm very disappointed with the mayor. And that's no offense, because I didn't vote for you, and I don't mean that in any term, negative term at all. But I didn't vote for you because I didn't think that you would fulfill the needs, and you have proven today to a young African American woman, as an older African American woman, that you have not done anything to help other African American women or other African American people. People have this woman, this beautiful woman here, just implored to you and pretty much begged to you. She could have got on the floor, and it was like you didn't even want to say anything to her. You could have addressed it if you wanted to, and you didn't. You chose not to. So that is giving a psychological message to people that you do not care about the things that they are going through. So no, we know that you cannot directly affect the situations that people are going through, but you can indirectly affect it. You have power. We don't have power. The current power that you have. If I wanted to be in one of these seats, I would have to go throughout an election. I would have to go throughout a whole process, but that takes time. Our community in Louisiana, there has been a police shooting against the black man and police shootings against police. And I was just in Dallas at a seminar, and they had enough in blue lights because police were being slain because of the mistakes of their counterparts. Being silent is a problem. If you see a problem, you should address it. I know my time has run out, but I know you cannot do anything directly, but I just want you guys to understand that people are telling you this because there is an apparent problem that is not being handled properly, and they are afraid. I know people my age who are afraid to go outside and to go to parks and to do the things that they normally do because they think that somebody is going to be out there shooting them because of what some ignorant police officer did. We should be able to have SPD knowledgeable about these laws. You can't just get somebody who took some criminal justice course out of college and then put them in law enforcement if they are not themselves fully equipped to handle what comes with that position. There should be some type of training for them to consistently be able to understand what laws that we have as civilians and what they are not allowed to do to us. And if they are wrong, it's a pride issue. It's, excuse my language, a pissing match, pretty much. It's you against them. I have dealt with that before. And I have something on my record, personally, that should have never even done, and thank God I was able to, dismiss it. But at the same time, I know my time's out, but I just want to let you know that they know that they don't have the power, that you don't have the power to change things directly, but they are telling you because they hope, and we hope that as members of this community and as members of the city of Shreveport, Bossier, that you are going to be able to at least help. And that's all I have to say.
Let me just say this, and again, our priority for the safety and well-being of the citizens of this city, all the citizens of this city. Your expressions here is not falling on deaf ears. We are hearing you. We care. We care about the.
But are you listening? Hearing and listening are two different things. Okay, go ahead.
You gotta know what you're saying to care. But I'm saying, and we may, and we will, as a committee within the proper structure that we are made of, can take some of the comments and expressions that was made today under consideration and advisement on what we could do. But I'm saying, as it relates to directly impacting administration.
You said that several times to several different people, so I do understand it. But
Okay.
continue.
And I just want to see because a lot of our citizens misunderstand the scope of what we do, and that we could actually direct and dispatch and be held whole department heads or the mayor accountable, and that's again out of our purview. But at the same time, hearing the combination of things that are being said it gives us the opportunity to think about some things that we may need to add or legislate that could have some impact on what we've heard. You're welcome to come back and speak to this council at any time. Thank you very much. Before, we have one more speaker, but Council Lady, you want to speak now, you want to wait? Yes.
No, I'll wait till they finish.
Councilman Bowman? Okay. And is it Nicole Keel?
Hello, Mayor, Chairman,
state
Vice
your name and
Chairman.
your
My name is
address.
Nicole Keel, K-E-E-L. My address is 2906 East 46th Street, Texarkana, Arkansas. And I just wanted to, hopefully, there is one area where the scope of this council does apply, and that is on the issue of if an area is public property, belongs to the city of Shreveport, or is it private property? And that area in question is at the Festival Plaza, the street in front of Festival Plaza at, I think it's Caddo and Commerce, if that belongs to the city. And I think that's something that the city needs to be aware of. If this is public property and you've leased the Festival Plaza to an entity, you still maintain control of that area, don't you? You control the vendors, you control everything that goes on in that Festival Plaza. There are rules set in place by ordinance of the city that they cannot violate when they lease that venue, correct? I would think that is, I believe from what I'm looking at, that's what it is. And I think within the scope of this body, you can determine whether or not that spot still falls within public use, public egress and regress, the ability for the free exchange of ideas, for the freedom of the press, freedom of religion, and freedom of expression in the public spaces, which are traditional public fora. That is something that falls under your jurisdiction. And therefore, that is something that needs to be brought to you and explained to you that the constitutional rights have been violated in that area. And it's not someone doing this necessarily maliciously. It is out of a misunderstanding of what is a public space versus what is private. And that is what I believe my husband, he didn't get a chance to explain that, but that's what we've experienced. Typically, the Shreveport police have been wonderful. They typically recognize this is a public space. This time they didn't. And I think, and I believe that this body has the ability to say, hey, this is a public space, belongs to the city, freedom of speech, the constitutional rights cannot be abridged in this spot. And that's a place that we have always used. I'm not saying for you to rule on a case. Explain what's public and what's private. And that's...
Ms. Keel, let me just say this, and again, this is not the place for us to air it out, but I want to say that it's not that simple. Okay? We are a city, again, of laws, codes, and ordinances.
Sure.
Okay?
And you have
And just imagine for a second that if 100 people came to Shreveport, and each one of them got on a corner, okay, to do what they do, either sell or whatever. That's
selling is totally different from freedom of speech.
No, it's the same issue. It's
No.
an issue.
The
Well,
Constitution
again, I'm not going to
distinguishes
debate you,
between
but
them
I'm just
both.
saying that there are procedures in place for somebody to utilize even the public asset of what wasn't leased out to the organization or the entity that was using public thing. But I'm saying, but you, and no disrespect, but your husband did the same thing. You came assuming that something was what it was because you guys had been doing it all along. But it don't work. It's not that. It doesn't work that way.
The assumption is not just because we've been doing it, is because the traditional public forest, a public street and sidewalk
If
belongs to
100
the
people came to
public.
do what you was doing,
That's fine. We
then
had it
that's not a-
we've been there
There are
before.
procedures in which we do. But again, I think the attorney
what the
has
Constitution
agreed to
affords.
address it with you guys. But again, we don't try to cover anything up. We don't try to circumvent the law. We'll look at that. But again, I know that if somebody was selling or performing on streets of this city, that there are procedures that they would need to have to engage to do those things. And we welcome anybody to come in our city and to do things, but we have to do it within the structure in which our codes and ordinances allows.
Yeah, and your ordinance allow for free speech. Solicitation and free speech are two totally different things. You can't lump them all together. And they're afforded
Your
different
husband said
protections
he
under the
was,
law.
your husband said he was promoting CDs. He was giving
No,
away.
we don't promote CDs.
He
No,
was
we
giving
were
away?
passing out gospel tracts. That's called freedom of the press. We were speaking to
But
people
I
about.
hear it. We don't have any other information. We can only respond to information. We don't have information.
I understand
So
you don't
we-
have
we-
information. I was
Okay.
presenting
Okay.
a hope and an idea and hopefully that you would think about the fact that you guys, the city of Shreveport owns an area that there's no free speech
When you come
allowed.
back again, I would know what the ordinance is regarding what you all was doing. I don't know, but I just know that we cannot allow solicitation on every corner of Shreveport at any one time without going through the proper procedures, okay? Thank you very kindly. All right, Council Lady.
Oh. Oliver almost
forgot?
had me. No, Oliver almost had me under his spell.
Who did?
Councilman Jenkins.
Hey, quit.
I was transmitting positive thoughts to her that I thought might change the kind of
Okay.
atmosphere in here.
Keep on-
So I
keep
was
on radiating something
really
over.
focused on
Set a
that.
beam over here then.
Made me blush. City attorney. I want to talk to somebody higher than the city attorney. No, I'm just joking. Mr. William Bradford, I'm not calling you up. I just wanted to make a joke that I want to talk to somebody higher than the city attorney. I want to start using that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What I want to say is, I guess what I'm hearing probably from the presentation that Mr. Kraft gave through the public comments, that have been made by various people who know, some appear that they don't know each other, or maybe some know each other. But what I'm hearing collectively, as I said from Mr. Kraft's speech and presentation, through the public comments, is that Black Lives Matter. Black communities matter. The health, safety, and welfare of Shreveport's black communities matter. Now, I heard someone say a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, that we can't keep looking backwards if we're going to move forward. But I think Mr. Kraft's speech today, although it was made in, I think, 1963, much of what was spoken then could actually be spoken today. But I am concerned because I do think that oftentimes we put a Band-Aid, or we try to sugarcoat, or we try to cover up that there are some genuine concerns and fears that people have in the city of Shreveport. And I think I've expressed this maybe a year or two ago. I know to the mayor and maybe to a few people on the council, that at times it seems that we're sitting on a powder keg. And I don't know what, I just believe that it's just going to take a spark. Because there's a lot of frustration, there are a lot of disappointments, there are a lot of expectations, some, as Council Chair said, that are realistic, some that are not realistic, some that are achievable, some that are not achievable. But at the end of the day, I think people want to know that we care and that we're going to do something about the issues that concern them. And I'm not convinced, and I've been on this council almost 2 years now, I'm not convinced that we care enough about the entire city. And I've said this, and I got a lawsuit today, as a matter of fact, because people think they're going to shut me up. They think I'm not going to speak about some of the issues that that have been brought out here today. I mean, I'm hearing, and I'm not the only one hearing, the council members up here, they hear, people come down, but they're hearing a lot of things. They're hearing that the city morale is at the lowest point that it's ever been. That's what they're saying. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what people are saying. People are saying that this administration, and by virtue of us being on the council as well, does not care about the entire city. That there are two Shreveports, there's one side that's being taken care of, and the other side, I say, that's not what they're saying, but I say looks like hell. That city resources and city services are not being provided equitably in this city. We just need to stop pretending that everything is okay for everybody. I asked a question a couple of days ago. We need to have this conversation, and we're going to have the conversation, because every study, and I've been in politics for 13 years now, and I voted for, when I was on the parish, all these different studies, but they've all said, and even going back to, and I like to refer to Belden Daniels, but probably some even before then, that have said over and over, every study has said, until at that time what was the minority community, which is now today the majority community in Shreveport, as long as there are consistent deep disparities between the economic well-being, the health well-being of Shreveport's black communities, that this city is going nowhere. Nowhere. So we've got to stop pretending that everything is okay for everybody when it's not. And actually start to do something about that. And stop sweeping stuff under the rug and stop pretending. I'm not saying we don't live in a great city. I wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case. I've lived other places. I've visited a lot of places. But for the people that choose to be here, that have not moved next door, that have not moved outside of the city, who want to be here, let's really work toward making life better for everybody. And so those are my 2 cents about what I've heard today. Some of it we don't have a direct influence on. And I think that's why it's important to not let other people define or try to, what I would consider, water down or to try to quiet what people have to say. Now, the last study that we had that I'm aware of was the SB Land Institutes. And I went to the big meeting where they kind of outlined their recommendations or what have you. And they talked about having the community conversation, that people were that they needed everybody needed to have a seat at the table. And they recommended that there be an outside facilitator that would commence these community conversations, I think is what they called it. And one of the members, pretty prominent member, I would say, of our city that was there at that meeting, he asked a question. He asked the same question 3 times in 3 different ways. He said, who do you say we had to talk to? The lady said, everybody. He could not get in his head that she really meant everybody, not the hand-picked people that you like to talk to, but folks who, in some people's opinion, would say act out. You got to talk to the what was the lady's name? Miss Kemp's. You gotta talk to the Miss Scroggins. You gotta talk to the, I forgot your name. Hills. You gotta talk to everybody. It's not gonna be a conversation that's going to be comfortable, that's gonna be nice, that's gonna be, you know, some of the things that makes folks comfortable. But these are people that live in our city, that are very much a part of our city, just as anybody else. And if we are going to move forward and be the city that I believe Shreveport can be, then we're going to have to put forth more of an effort to make sure that all of our communities are doing well. But that's my speech for today. But the end of my speech is that Black Lives Matter. I'm going to say it. I'm not changing that. I'm not saying all lives or blue lives or purple lives or whatever. I'm saying Black Lives Matter. Black communities matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady, for those remarks. Councilman Bowman.
I guess I can piggyback on some of that. Black lives do matter, but I have to say all lives matter. You can't go one-sided and say that only Black lives matter or just for the particular situation. I understand that Black lives matter, but I believe all lives matter, and that's part of the problem, that we still distinguish the two. We still break down and have a difference. It is two Shreveports. Because of people in leadership get up and make out that black, 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 and then white, white, white. But then you, at the end of the statement, you say that Shreveport can be great, but we always got something negative to say about Shreveport. There's never nothing positive to say about Shreveport. Every day, every time, it's something negative about Shreveport. We got our faults. Things are wrong. Things need to be addressed. I agree. I do agree. We need to talk to people. I agree with that. But to sit up and to be in leadership and always have something negative to say about Shreveport, how can you obviously think that Shreveport is going to move forward? I don't see it. I can't see it. Always something negative about Shreveport. Not one time do you say something positive about Shreveport that's negative. Is there an issue? Is there a race-related issue? Yes, it is. I believe that. I believe Shreveport has that. But we can't fix it by steady dividing the two. The people who came up and spoke, I love to speak to them and talk to them and see what their issues are. I can't solve their problems. I don't think just me. But I don't think that they are looking up for leadership to always have something negative to say, number one, or not help them with their problems, number two. And we shouldn't go sideways. Racially influenced. That's my 2 cents, sir.
Thank you, Councilman, Council Lady. Thank you very kindly. Thank you for this engagement.
Always.
I'm gonna give my 2 cents, then we'll adjourn. And I'm gonna ask and respectfully request that as we address each other, that we would do it respectfully.
Thank you.
I agree.
Okay, but I'm gonna say this. 1 year and 6 months. Whatever Shreveport is, it didn't happen over the last 1 year and 6 months. But we can't do something about that. Now, I said to our guests that the issues that they was bringing forth was a response to what had occurred. But this body can introduce any legislation that we wish. If you feel like you can introduce some legislation that would be helpful in making this city better, introduce the legislation. We are a democracy. We have 4 votes will get us legislation that will be responsive to whatever issue that you think would be advantageous to move this city forward. Unlike other folk, we don't have to really complain. All we have to do is legislate. We can get with our clerk. We can get with our administration, and we can draft legislation. This body can do that. And we can, any member of this body can do that. Bring it to this body. If 4 of us agree that this is something that would be advantageous to this city, then we change the code, we change the ordinance, we change the law. So I'm challenging us to do that. We've had this conversation. I'm moving forward with that. We don't have to come here meeting after meeting and say what ain't happening. We come here with an ordinance saying this is what we want to change in this city. Pass it, allow it to come law, and we got something tangible that's in the law book that we can move forward on. That's what we need to do. We don't have to be complainers. We can be advocators, and I'm challenging us that we do that. There's no other business before this body. This meeting is adjourned.
I guess what's your response to critics who might say you haven't done enough on crime?
And I would say that we haven't done enough, but I would say that crime is everybody's business. See, let me tell you, our police department works diligently, and I think I've just given you some examples of how we're trying to put more boots on the ground. And we've put in new strategies, was able to bring in 70 new police officers. Our goal is to bring in 80 this year. But we've also put in some more hours in our retrainer program, because we train all the time. Even those police officers that have been on the job, they have to go through a retrainer program. We went from 24 hours to 40 hours of additional training for our police officers. We've once again, we've put resources into trying to do more sting operations with all law enforcement agencies. Now, if you look at the stats and you look very carefully, because perception is reality to some people, but this last quarter, crime has gone down. And I'll say again, it's because of different strategies that we've used. And when I say different, it's not just one strategy. We cannot, and I'll say this, Nick, and we say this to our citizens, when you've got 2 people or 3 people or 4 people that live in a home, and somebody gets angry and decide that they're going to shoot the other person, that's not a police problem. Now, we go and respond, okay? And we go work those cases, but a lot of our cases are like that. You've got children that have access to guns, okay? They pick up a gun, they say it was an accident, it goes off and shoot one of their friends in their house. We've had a lot of instances like that. Those crimes, we're still working, trying to educate the public about, and we're going to try to do a better job of educating the public. And we're going to do a better job of getting our citizens more involved. Because when they can point out, if they know there's a neighbor or a relative that's involved in criminal activity, we're going to talk with them, even in our neighborhood meetings, about how you can report that kind of thing, or what agency you can go to try to get some help. Conflict resolution is a big deal, because we see, a lot of our younger people walk in the street, they're unemployed, and they're angry. Now, we can't profile anybody. We can't look at them and say, you're going to commit a crime. We can't do that. We can't be in somebody's house. You understand what I'm saying? And so the domestic abuse is bad, but that's an internal thing. But we are going to work with citizens, and they can work with us. Crime Stoppers has done a good job of taking in information, working with our police department. The U.S. Marshal's Office has done a great job. The Department of Justice has done a great job. The Sheriff Department. These people meet all the time on various sting operations, and they're doing more together. And what they do is we have an intelligence bureau where we utilize that bureau to come up with the data and the stats on where a lot of crime is occurring. Okay? And we do sting operations to try to address those areas. But it moves around, as you know.
You introduced legislation last year, passed by the council, to provide more funding for overtime operations for just those things, Operation Long Haul
suffered a gunshot wound to his leg. Now, he has been transported to University Health. Now, as for the corner of Doris Street and Joel Avenue. Now, as I just spoke with officers here on scene, they did confirm that a man was shot in the head here outside of this Stop and Shop gas station that sits at the corner of Doris Street and Joel Avenue. Now, as for the second victim, he was just located in the 2200 block of Tate Street, also located in Shreveport's Motown neighborhood. Now, according to Shreveport Police Department, the victim that was located in the 2200 block of Tate Street suffered a gunshot wound to his leg. Now, he has been transported to University Health. Now, as for the victim that suffered a gunshot wound here at this gas station, I have not received any updated information on his condition, but Corporal Marcus Hines from Shreveport Police Department, he just arrived on scene. As you can see, the crime scene tape remains up. The detectives just arrived on scene, so they are gathering information, so they will be able shortly to give me more updated coverage on both of these shootings. While you guys are waiting, go ahead and text the code that you guys see pinned at the coverage on the shooting that took place earlier also. Marcus Hines continue to collect more information to come over and deliver to you all. Oh, well, that's Marcus coming up. He wants us to come over there. Who are these niggas? She was out here earlier. Hello, sir. I guess so. All this stuff happened. Shell casing. Cases they putting out.
Jimmy, where do you want to put him? Put him right here? Okay. Hang on just a second, please. Go ahead, Mark.
You ready? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we want to give you the latest information as we know it. Right now, 2 men have been shot here at the Stop and Shop convenience store located at the intersection of Juella and Doris. That's the 4900 block of Juella Avenue. Now, we got the call about 10:02 p.m. The call was dispatched as a shooting. Now, when officers arrived on scene, they did observe one male victim suffering a gunshot wound, appeared to be to the head. That man has been taken to University Health by ambulance. His injuries are considered life-threatening. There was a second man we do believe was inside the vehicle who officers learned of his shooting moments after they arrived here on scene. He was located on Tate Street. Right now we can tell you there were multiple rounds fired at this vehicle that's parked on the parking lot. We are recovering shell casings. It does appear that the suspects fled just after the shooting. Not certain if they fled in a vehicle or on foot, but they were not here when we arrived. But we are still looking for those individuals right now.
You have another shooting down the way on Juella as well, don't you? That
no.
took place. Was that connected to the same?
There was an individual on Tate Street.
Yeah.
We believe that he was connected to this.
Okay.
All right. Can you give us an update about the last one, Joel and Jackson?
We're still gathering information on that. I have heard that one of the individuals, the older gentleman who was involved in that shooting, is gravely ill. Is gravely injured. I do apologize. Is gravely injured. We cannot confirm that he has passed. We are getting different rumors, but we like to operate on fact. That may be the case, but at this point, I cannot confirm that. I have not heard that from medical staff at this point. But we do know that he is gravely injured. Okay, so I can confirm that. As far as this shooting, what we do know is that someone knows what's going on. Okay, let's not play any games here. All right, this is ridiculous. Someone knows exactly what happened here tonight. All right. Okay, there's no questioning it, there's no denying it. And what's even more disturbing is that our phone lines aren't ringing off the hook right now with someone saying, hey, this is what I know, this is what I heard, this is what I think I know. Everyone wants to be quiet right now, okay? People are getting shot, people are dying, and everyone wants to be quiet. You know, we're gonna do our jobs as best we can. We're gonna work. We have investigators on scene right now. We're not gonna stop working, okay? But we need cooperation right now. Okay, there's a man right now who's in critical condition, who's probably not going to make it. This isn't time for fun. It's not time for games. We're very serious about this. Okay, so please, if you have any information at all, we would ask that you would provide that information as soon as possible. Yes, sir.
Any updates on the shooting on LaGuardia earlier this afternoon?
No updates on that shooting from LaGuardia. We're still searching for more updates. Now, we do know that they did take one man into police custody.
Okay, got that.
On that shooting.
Has he been identified or charged yet?
He has been identified. I don't have his name right now, and charges are pending. He's still at police headquarters right now.
And just to make it clear, all three shootings this afternoon have not been connected at all. There's no connection at this point that you have.
Not that I can confirm.
Detectives? Okay.
Not that I can confirm any connection. And there may very well be some connection, but we just, again, all of these shootings are happening so close together that our detectives are working very diligently to confirm whether there's any connection or not. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh. Oliver almost
forgot?
had me. No, Oliver almost had me under his spell.
Who did?
Councilman Jenkins.
Hey, quit that.
I was transmitting positive thoughts to her that I thought might change the kind of
Okay.
atmosphere in here. So I was
radiating
really
something over there.
focused on
Set a
that.
beam over here then.
Made me blush. City attorney. I want to talk to somebody higher than the city attorney. No, I'm just joking. Mr. William Bradford, I'm not calling you up. I just wanted to make a joke that I want to talk to somebody higher than the city attorney. I want to start using that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What I want to say is,